Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Since July of 2021, Jake and his friends have interviewed professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and many more. Who will they be chatting with in this week's interview? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Welcome, everybody, to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. I am one of your co-hosts, Matt Bingel, with my buddy Marty Monster. Hi there. And we have our host, Chris Bixby, and Jake Deffinbaugh. How you doing, gentlemen?
We're good.
Hello. Oh, great to be here. How are you, Matt? Marty?
We're good. We're doing really good. We're doing really good.
Nice. And who do we have today?
This is a very unique episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. This is something we have never done before in the history of our show. For only the second time in our show's history, we have a returning guest. Yay!
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Yep.
We'll start off with him first, but let's get to why we're doing this. Yes, that would help. This year marks Bird Call Radio's 20th anniversary. 20 years. You feeling old? Absolutely. I'm feeling old. Yeesh. So, let's start off with our returning guest. If you folks remember episode 9 of this thing way back in the day, he is the creator of Bird Call Radio, as well as the puppeteer of... Great, our camera's glitching. Yay. He didn't puppeteer that. Shut up, you're not helping. Puppeteer of luckl-duckl and the flamboyant Bingo Flamingo. Please welcome back Calvin Lester. Yay.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome back, Calvin.
Thank you.
Yes.
What are you saying welcome back for? You weren't in this episode. No, but I was referenced a lot. Thanks, Jakey. Yes. Let's get to our newbies. We're very excited that all of them are here. First, ladies first. Yes. You may know her work as Biscuit, Stan, and Fig on her TikTok. Since 2015, she's been the puppeteer of Frances Birdling, as well as the newest Bird Call character, Kiki Kookaburra, among others. She's also worked on the Amazon Kids TV series Blippi's Treehouse as Scratch, and she's currently Crow in the 13th season of Mystery Science Theater 3000, currently on the Gizmoplex. Please welcome the lovely and talented Miss Kelsey Brady.
Hello.
Yay!
Hi.
Yay! Next up, we have the current puppeteer of Speck, as well as Paul Raven, Chicken Jr., and Murray Feathertwig. He joined the cast in 2015, starting his puppetry in Illinois, and he won't let you forget it. He's Tyler Campbell. Yes.
No. He won't. He always talks about it.
Gotta make sure you remember.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know what his name was. He just introduced him. It's like, I do puppets.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why we brought him on. We said, "Oh, cool, come on in."
Yeah.
Lose you, Matt?
Yeah, he's here. He's here. Yeah. Our camera's acting a little weird here. Just go on. Marty, next one. Next up. There we go. Oh, now it decides to work. Wonderful. Yeah. Invest in an HD webcam would help. Yes. He is the current puppeteer Casmope Pod and Buzzard Beak. He also has his own characters on TikTok. Waffles, Gerald, Avocado, and Scraps. He's another one of the puppet builders for Bird Call, him and Scott Kuhn. He's performed on Playhouse Disney Live on Stage, as well as the Muppets Present Great Moments in American History. He is Chris Faulkenberry. Yes.
He's not from Illinois.
He is not from Illinois. No, he's not. No, he is not. Finally, we have one of the longest tenured Bird Call performers. He started in 2010 as an ensemble puppeteer. Currently performs Mr. Chicker, Senior. Senior? Sure. We got Chicker Jr., now we got Chicker Senior, Mr. Chicker. And Pinky the Worm, Luke Gerdes.
Hello.
He is from Illinois.
I am.
Yes.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just some of the cast of Bird Call Radio. Yippee! Yay. Yes. As we had brought up before, Calvin's a returning guest. Yep. Calvin, guys, we're happy to have you back. How does it feel that we've invited you back?
Yeah, thanks, Jake, for reaching out and getting us all put together. I know you've been trying to get a bunch of us together for a while,
Yes.
huh?
Oh my gosh.
Especially everybody's
Yeah.
busy schedule. Yeah.
Quite a
Yeah.
while.
Give me first time doing it
Yeah.
last year for the 20, because I've been 20 years, but of course, all the things that's going on, and I'm glad, finally
Yeah.
able to do it. So,
Well, technically, it's still the 20th anniversary. This is a
Yeah.
year-long celebration
Yeah.
after all. Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes. So we know who you are, and if you folks remember episode 9, you'll know who Calvin is. But Calvin, I'll start with you. For those who don't know, would you care to introduce yourself?
I'm Calvin Lester. I'm a creator of Bird Call, and I play luckl-duckl bird and Bingo Flamingo.
Kelsey, you next.
Oh, what else is there to say? I feel like you did such a good introduction for me.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, was I
wanna-
supposed to like give my
I want to
credits?
bask
Was
in
that-
that.
Was I
No,
supposed to give my credits?
no, we already did. We already
My
did, yeah.
favorite color is purple, and
choice.
a lot of the
Mm.
puppets I play reflect that. But it's not up to me; it just happens that way.
Nice.
She doesn't
There you
get
go.
credit for it, but Kelsey's
There you
also
go.
for the show as well.
Yeah, she built Chicker Jr.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, wow.
Awesome. How about you, Chris?
What do you want to know? You pretty much covered everything you needed to know that I can talk about.
Yeah.
Tell us your secrets.
Tell us all the
One.
secrets.
I like Daffy.
Luke, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm a puppeteer from Illinois, and don't forget that.
I already forgot.
Oh
man.
my gosh!
Hey,
I always think Luke's from Illinois. So
No,
Yes,
no, forget about him.
There
You
can only
forget
be
about him.
one
Yeah.
puppeteer
it'll only be
from
one, and
Illinois.
he's the senior puppeteer.
Look, just
here.
because he's been
Oh.
here longer doesn't mean that he has more seniority than me.
That's
think- yeah,
literally what that
That's
means. That's
literally
literally
what-
the
yeah.
definition
That-
of seniority.
Ooh,
Oh my
Sorry.
gosh.
sorry,
That's
I'm gonna
all.
have to go look that up later. My bad.
Oh,
Oh man.
Gosh.
Oh well,
Oh.
and
So for all of you, what was your background like, and how you grew up? Start with who wants to start?
Who wants to start?
Oh.
Kelsey.
Luke, you want to start? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like, well, my background, like, I mean, I have grown up being in theater since I was like 3. My first theater production has been 3, so I've always been a performer. I actually I never picked up a puppet really until I started working for Disney, which is where I work now. And
Wow.
that's how a lot of us know is I never picked up a puppet till then. I never really had an outlet or anywhere that did puppeteering. Like, I didn't have, a lot of people do it through church. My church didn't have anything. So I've always loved puppeteering and puppets and stuff like that. So when I got to Disney and they said, hey, we do this, I was like, oh, cool. And the rest is history. I've just learned and built up got involved with Bird Call, and that's gotten me more and more comfortable and able to do this stuff. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome here.
Yeah, Luke actually he directed the first Bird Call musical in 2014.
Oh wow.
Oh nice.
Awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
It was a
Yes.
very interesting production that we did. It was fun. It was a lot
Yeah.
of fun. It was
Yes.
a lot of exciting and
A lot
fear
of ups and downs. Yeah.
ups and downs, but it turned out to be something that we were really, really proud of. And we got to build it off, and Calvin took it for the next couple iterations. And it was fun for me to watch him direct us then and be like, oh, that was such a great idea. I wish I would have been able to think of that or done that for our iteration. But it was so nice to see the product and see the show build and become mature. So by the last time we did it, it was just such a solid show, and it was so wonderful to be part of. And to be
Awesome.
at the beginning was great.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I was
saw
really
it
happy
twice.
with that. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Kelsey saw it twice.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Oh, thanks.
She really wanted to be on the show.
And then look what
Like a-
happened.
I know, right? It worked out.
Yep,
Mhm.
Yeah.
worked out wonderfully.
But yeah, and
Absolutely.
Luke took on Mr. Chicker. When was that? That would have been what,
Oh.
2012?
2012, about that. Oh,
Yeah.
10 plus years now. Oof.
Yeah.
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wrote myself into the show because I just wanted to be part of it. I was making joke because we all, like everybody who was involved in this show, they would talk about it, how exciting it was and stuff like that. And I was like, little guy off to the side. It's like, I want to be part of this. This is fun, like friends playing around. So I came up with a little character. I was like, you need like a janitor character, just some human character. So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I could be this, wink. I'll just be a side character. And then it's like, I'm in.
Oh yeah, the janitor. We never knew his
Janitor.
name,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Janitor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And he was such a good character that he never showed up again. Such a great character.
Oh, I think the
Oh.
only place, like, what you could see him in is it the live show? Like you got Spec like poops off the branch.
Yeah.
That was where and you clean yourself up. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
One and done. It's great.
So what
Great
you're
character.
saying is that you'd like to resurrect this character? We could just have you come and clean the apartment. We'll just film it.
Oh my gosh.
There, let me go grab my broom. Nice.
Come on over.
Right.
Definitely. So I think we could probably go in order, like on who's on my screen. So next I see Kelsey. Kelsey, what was your background like?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very similar to what Luke said. I've started acting around town from a very small age. I have two sisters, and I'm the middle of the three. And being Brady girls, we just kind of were paraded around town like a Brady Bunch and singing and dancing. And I took a puppetry class in college, but yeah, very similarly, I did not consider it an outlet until Disney, and then kind of fell in love from there. I think all of the musical theater, the character acting, the dance, like everything that I did growing up put all together just kind of made sense. When I found puppetry, I can act, I can do voices, I can move, but all just focused on just this one character. And yeah, I can hide as well. I can hide behind it. So all of those things were attractive to me. So yeah.
Nice. Nice.
That's
And then
awesome.
next is Chris Faulkenberry. Chris, what about you?
Oh, it's always fun talking about yourself.
I'll talk more, excuse me. So
when it comes to like performance wise, I wasn't really like a performer. I got into puppetry when I was about 13 years old, so it's been about 30 years. And as Luke said, wherever you are on everybody else's screen, yeah, it was church puppets. I got started in church puppets at that time. But I was never really into like acting or anything like that until around high school. And then after high school, I really didn't do anything until college. So, and then as a result of that, I got to meet all these wonderful people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's
how did you get
nice.
into building puppets? I don't think we've ever really talked about this. Like, what sparked it for you?
It's not that interesting. I'm sorry. It's really fun.
Yeah, Kelsey, keep talking. Sorry.
Well,
I'm interested.
I had ended the college. I ended the Disney college program, and I had gone back home for a year, and I had a lot of free time, and I was bored, and I had been performing at that point in a more professional aspect. So I just sat down and decided to teach myself.
Is that when you built the blue guy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's when I did that one. The round-headed blue Norbert. That's when I built that one.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot of tutorial videos and just had a lot of free time, so I sat down and just experimented and figured out stuff. So that's how I did it.
Well, you did good, kid. You did good.
Oh, thank you. I credit a lot of my earlier stuff to Project Puppet and Swazzle before they became the big name that they are today.
Oh, yes.
They used to have a blog which would show you their process on how to build a puppet. And I taught myself through that. And so I used a lot of their techniques in what I do. But they said remove that because, they don't want you.
Yeah.
doing? Because they're a big
They're
name.
like, oh, people are buying our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next, Calvin. What was your background like?
See my background. So I grew up in West Virginia, so we were very coal mine country. Did not really have anything big on the arts, so it was a lot of sports for us growing up, me and my brother. But we had we would do church plays and stuff. Obviously, I remember we got to play Gabriel, the angel, in this comedic version of the birth of Jesus. And I just remember being like, "Oh, this is like a 6-year-old going, I'm Gabriel, okay." And I remember I had to wear makeup for the first time, and that wigged me out. I was like, "Well, hold on," because it was such a weird place for me because it was such a small town, and that all that was known was sports were for boys, and singing and dancing is for the ladies. And so I broke that mold. I said, I want to do both. So I grew up doing that, and then I enjoyed performing and writing and stuff. But yeah, same thing like these other guys said, puppetry was never my go-to. I enjoyed the Muppets growing, like Jim Henson's work, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I was very much I wanted to do everything. And I was like, I'll be an animator. No, I'll be a writer. I'll be this. Which is, I think a good thing to have as a kid, to say, well, I want to do this or I want to do that. Have the options available for yourself. And it's kind of, I'm very proud of where I came from, because I do love where I came from, because it's your home. But it really took me trying to set myself up for success. And I started going to college, to learn about psychology. Yeah, that's all
Nice.
kinds of fun. So from that point, I didn't really think the acting career was a possibility. And then I auditioned for the Muppets in 2005 and got put on a cool workshop program. And then Sesame Street happened as an assist. And then I auditioned for Disney, and I came down in the next year and just never left, because I thought, wow, you get paid weekly to do this? Play with puppets? So
15
Yeah.
years later.
15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I worked here for a year, and myself and Luke as well, we became puppet specialists, where we could train the shows at Disney, Muppets Great Moments in History, or Disney Junior, Voyage of the Little Mermaid. So those were really fun. And I mean, that's how all of us interacted for years, is just trying to learn how to be a performer with your friends, and also have to be the guy to teach them what they're doing. It's very humbling, as a performer, to kind of understand the weight and the balance of it all. So I was really happy with where I ended up, and then I got to meet Kels, so that worked out too.
Aw.
Uh,
Oh, and
Lastly-
Faulkenberry and Luke and Tyler.
I did
I-
not
I
take
get
offense
it.
to any
I
of
get
that.
it.
But it's hilarious that when you pointed to Kelsey on my screen, you pointed Faulkenberry, so that was very sweet.
I get you all mixed up all the time.
Me too.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's the hats.
Lastly, how about you, Tyler?
So not too dissimilar from Faulkenberry, actually. I grew up doing church puppets. My aunt started that when I was in about 5th or 6th grade. So I grew up in a very art-focused family. Lots of music, lots of theater stuff, and puppetry was just a new thing that was thrown at me, and I latched onto it because I thought I was good at it and I had fun with it. So I did that throughout high school and college, but I never really thought that it was going to be something that I could do professionally. Like Sesame Street, Muppets, that was always a pipe dream. It was not something that I was like, I'm working towards this. It was just, yeah, I have fun playing fun characters and doing silly voices and all that kind of stuff. But I was finishing up college when I found that I could audition to come down and work at Disney. And it took a few times, but I finally got here. and that's where the first rehearsal that I had was where I met Calvin and Kelsey.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was.
And he wouldn't leave.
I wouldn't.
He still doesn't.
True. Actually, all of this is Kelsey's fault because she felt bad for me because I was just this sad sap sitting in the corner, and she was like, You look sad. Come with me. We're gonna go get lunch." And I was
This
like,
poor little
"Okay."
kid. He just
I-
doesn't have any friends. Let
So,
me
wait
You
a
know, we
minute.
could blame
friends.
Kelsey.
Yeah, this is
So
Kelsey's fault.
you're the one we
Oh,
got to
boy.
blame.
Yay.
Sorry,
Yep.
guys.
Kelsey got a hold of me, and I was like, "Okay, fine." And then I became
Guess
closer.
I'll
Engagement
open up.
My
Darn.
engagement is off. I gotta go. I gotta move out.
I'm so sorry. Wow, this,
No, you.
this took
I
a
mean,
turn.
yeah. Oh well. Way to go.
Surprise. But I know that sorry you had to find out this way. As far as like getting with into bird call, I know it was maybe about 4 or 5 months after I had met both Calvin and Kelsey. They were getting ready to do, it would have been the last year of the Canines, Cats, and Cabaret show. I remember getting
Oh,
a
yeah.
Facebook invite to go to this show, and I was like, I can't go that night. I have to work. But I was like, what is bird call? And I remember searching the internet and trying to find whatever I could to be like, what is this? This sounds really cool. This sounds like something that I would want to get into. And I remember finding the Kickstarter from, at that point, it had been what, 2 years prior or so, 2013,
Probably.
2014. I remember finding that and being like, this is really cool. And seeing all the people that were attached to it, and subsequently meeting everyone shortly thereafter as more rehearsals came and I started doing more things at Disney. And then that following January, I get a text going, "Hey, you busy this month? Can you help us?" And I was here ever since.
That was Kelsey's fault
Wow.
I remember
Also
having
Kelsey's
that.
fault.
I remember having.
No, Kels, don't go.
I remember having that conversation with you. He's like, "Who do we need? Who can we message to?"
Oh my
She
god.
teleported
How'd she do that?
behind him. This is weird. Oh no. Well,
Are
guys,
they
looks
in the
like
same
I am taking
place?
over Bird Call as the second senior member.
Makes
Calvin's
sense.
dead. Well,
But I'm in charge now. Oh no, he's up.
Oh,
no, oh no.
God.
I mean, yay.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
Nothing.
just your death. It's fine.
Oh,
What else is new?
So so for Kelsey, so we talked about this in the beginning, but you got to work as Crow on the 13th season of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Can you talk about how
Yeah.
you kind of landed that iconic role and what the experience is like doing the character?
Yeah. So when they'd done the tour for a few years prior, and for what is 2019 they wanted to kind of restructure how the tours went, and they wanted more of a theater cast since they wanted to add songs and that kind of thing. And they wanted to make it more of like a musical, so they had auditions. I went to the audition. I did not in fact get any of the roles in the show, but just kind of kept in touch, and I had friends that did in fact get the role, and put my name put my hat in the ring when the tour came around. Let's see, the 2019 tour ended around 2020. Stuff happened. They decided to have another one in 2021 anyway, but because of COVID, because of they just were like, we should probably have an understudy, swing, just in case any illness were to come up as the tour continued. So yeah, I threw my hat back in the ring, and they're like, "Oh, her!" Like, and Bird Call had actually been Calvin, what was that for? It was a Halloween thing that we
Yeah,
did with
Joel
them.
had reached out and was like, hey guys, we're putting all these puppet acts together for this Halloween show. And so it was me,
Oh
Kelsey.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was they talked to Crow, and it was a whole joke. Like they thought he was a bird, and so that we were on their radar, which was great because that meant Kelsey was still on their radar.
Right. I
Mhm.
think just kind of timing worked out. I was the understudy for the tour, and I learned the roles for the Mad Mega Cynthia and Emily Connor and Crow were the roles that I was covering for, but I only ever went on for Crow. So after the tour ended, there was more filming to be done for season 13, and they found themselves in need of a Crow. And since I was fresh off of tour, I just kind of stumbled into it, and they graciously they liked what I was doing with the character. So I was like, "Are you sure? Okay, great, cool. I'll do it. Put me in, coach."
Yay!
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Yay.
Amazing.
Fantastic. As this one is also for Kelsey. You want to ask it, Marty? Yes, go for it. You've puppeteered at the Disney parks with the Muppets Present Great Moments in History, as well as the Voyage of the Little Mermaid. What were those
Yeah.
experiences like?
Oh my goodness. I think the great thing about working at a theme park as a puppeteer, you have the opportunity to do the show a million billion times, and keeping it fresh, keeping it from getting too repetitive and too boring, in your mind, making each show count. And I think, with Mermaid and Disney Junior, and every character that you learn has a different way of each puppet is a different character. You have to treat it like a different entity. So learning, how would this character deliver this line, how would this character deliver this line. So it was cool to not only be able to do the same character over and over and over again and make that, make new choices based on that, but also to differentiate each character and not just have it look like, oh, that's Kelsey performing across the board. No, you should look at the character and say, oh, that is so and so. And yeah, I think I just really remember trying to perfect a different technique, especially when it came to arm rods or something. Like, okay, I've done this. I've got the show down. I know my lines. I know my blocking. What can I do to improve my technique and make this character, have a let me practice this gesture, since I can do it 1,000 more times in the next week. So let me get that until I've got it. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So I just theme parks in general are a great way to just kind of workshop your own skills, because yeah, that audience that you're doing the show for, that's the first time, maybe the only time they're going to see the show. So, performing it, having that in mind, and not just falling into the routine and just being like, here I am singing this Under the Sea song for the 12th time today, but making it like it's the only time you're singing it.
Right.
Nice. So you also got into puppeteer as Scratch on Blippi's Treehouse. What was that like?
Oh my goodness. I think not having a toddler at the time, well, I still don't have one. I just,
I was like, wait.
I keep waiting for someone to just hand me a toddler. No, but I have a nephew now that I think is of the age range. But at the time, he wasn't on my radar. Blippy wasn't on my radar in my world. So when I auditioned for the role, it also was kind of under wraps what I was auditioning for. So there was just kind of no concept of what I was walking into. So when I got the role, and then learned that it was Blippi, and then walking onto set with this treehouse and stuff. I remember looking at my partner puppeteer, Paul. He did Patch. We looked at each other and we were like, oh, this is cool. What do we do? We just like, we had met that day in person for the first time. And we just were like, you're my new best friend for the next couple months. We're getting through this together. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So it was really special, and it continues to be special. Like, the whole cast and crew just built this bond of gosh, we had animals come to set every day, different, like every episode we would interview just a normal person with a job, like a recycling truck driver, a fire person, a Paralympian. You know, we got to meet the coolest people with the coolest jobs. Just, yeah, I got to puppeteer while holding a live caterpillar. Like,
Oh wow.
just, and the really cool thing was that I fell into a position where I had a lot of responsibilities, and this was my first time on a set of that caliber, thinking I'm walking in to just kind of, I'll just puppeteer and, you know, say my lines, but I ended up having to do a lot more, and so thrown into the deep end. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully there's more to come. I don't know, but yeah, I'm very, very, very fortunate. That kind of big stroke of luck.
Yeah, so now for Calvin, since you created Bird Call, how do you feel knowing that your creation is now 20?
It's a year away from legally drinking.
He's not wrong.
The next year is going to be.
The show's gonna change like
the show changes
crazy.
ridiculous. Can't wait. I think I still, and I talk to these guys about it sometimes, I still kind of, the years that it's been around is interesting. But I do still kind of get blindsided when someone will either send a message or comment or say something to me about, oh, I really loved when, Mr. Chicker does that. Oh, I love Spec, or they'll go down the list, and you kind of are like, how do you know about this? Like, it's still kind of.
Tell them what happened the other night after we saw the show, when we were walking back to the car.
Oh yeah, we were in Sarasota. I took her to go see Mandy Patinkin in concert, and
Oh wow, that's awesome.
we were. He was great. He was fantastic.
Wonderful.
But we were walking back out to my car, and in the parking lot, my car's parked next to this other, like, there's not any cars left, but just these two cars. It's mine and this couple. And on the back, I had gotten, it was like a free thing with our shop that we have on our Bird Call Zazzle shop, a magnet that has Bird Call, the logo, and then a new one that's got all the characters, the QR code, and the thing says, if you're following me this closely, you should follow us here. And then they can.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, so I was like, that's fun. And, people have commented on it, like, oh, I saw this. We were walking out to the car, and I was like, what is that lady doing at my car? Like, I mean, it was like defensive. And she had her phone down.
What are you doing in my own car? Like, come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing in my car?
So she's scanning the QR code. And I looked, I was like, oh. I said,
we're like, oh, let's not crowd her. Let's like,
we're like, let's just act like that, and it's the only car out there. So it's like, that's kind of weird. And we're like, I think we're parked all the way over there. So we got in the car. So they got in the car, and then we got in my car, and I look over in the window. I'm like, oh my God, she's looking at the website, and she was looking at like all of our face. It was weird to look into another car of like, see my face and Luke's face and Kelsey and Tyler and Scott Hewitt and Fogger. Yeah, I'm like, she's reading all about us, and she has no idea that I'm in the car
next to him.
Yeah, so that was funny.
That's crazy.
And that lady was Mrs. Mandy Patinkin.
I knew it.
What?
But we did see that day. I almost talked. She was like out by one of the gardens we were at, and I'm like, that's her. I'm not going to bother her. But yeah, it was pretty neat.
That's fantastic.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Nice.
Definitely something. So this is for Chris Faulkenberry. Yes, thank you for specifying, because we have two Chris's here. This is two Chris's here. We're gonna throw everybody off. Yes. Before portraying Kesmo, you were Spec for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm curious, was it a strange transition from Spec to Kesmo?
I wouldn't say it was strange. I'd say it's different because you're talking two extremely different personalities of the spectrum.
Ah,
But-
Spectrum.
Additional funds. But no, it wasn't that weird. I mean, we're professionals. We pick up what we were told to do and we do it, and we do a great job at it. So we're all good at our jobs. It was a challenge for me to learn to slow down and to feel that character, because I was so used to that high-paced energy of the two characters that I was doing, including Buzzardbeak. Even though Buzzardbeak's not around a lot, he's also a very high energy character. So it was pulling that energy back and using it in a different way. But I'm doing the best I can. I hope I'm doing a good job. I hope you like what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And it
Yeah,
happened
of
right
course.
before COVID. Remember, it was like right before COVID that all changed. So they didn't really get the chance to like sit in the same room and play off of each other. It was all over Zoom.
Oh,
Yep.
Gosh.
So now this is also for you, Chris. So we talked earlier about also building characters.
Mhm.
What goes into building a character for Bird Call?
Well, well, honestly, the first step, which is fantastic, is that Calvin creates these wonderful sketches that are.
Oh,
I mean, he makes these incredible sketches that have a lot of character, and that's a great starting point on what to do when you're building a character. And then I personally, after talking with him about what he wants the puppet to do, what the character is like, what kind of energy it is, then I take it and then I break it down into the most rudimentary shapes that I can get it into, and then flesh it out from that point. And depending on what the character is and what they do, it can take anywhere from between 2 days to 3 months. It depends on the character.
Nice. Nice.
awesome.
I had, like that Cats and Cabaret show that Tyler was referring to earlier. I wasn't even asked. I just came up to Calvin and said, you need this character, and it was Khufu. He goes, yes, and I go, I can get it to you in 2 days. And that was the first character I built. So, and I did get
He
it done.
did. He
And
did.
It's still around today. So
It looked just like the drawing. Like we were just shocked when he walked in with it. Luke was there. We were just like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god!" Like he just walked in. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. It looks great. No,
I
no.
will say,
Yeah. That's cool. I like that.
I don't think I can ever do it again, but yes.
It was the adrenaline.
Right.
So next question is kind of very interesting and this is for both you, Chris and Tyler.
Okay.
So I know both of you actually did part of something for Walt Disney World, as one of you doing performer, one of you doing puppeteer. How did that come about, and how was the experience like for you being there for working there?
Working for Disney.
Yeah.
Walt Disney World, yeah.
Walt Disney World, yeah.
You want to take this one, Tyler?
Tyler, go.
As in, like, what's it just like working for?
Or like, what was it? What's it like getting to work together?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, I mean that's fair.
I mean that goes for all of us in this room right now.
Yeah.
But in my personal experience working in the Disney environment, particularly with the people that I have a close relationship with now that are here in this room and others, it's a unique experience because you're getting to work with very talented people who bring different skills from different places. And it's a great learning tool because you can pick and see what other people are doing, and you can take that and put it in your bucket and do other things. And you just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And that is the most valuable thing I think I could say that comes from that experience, is just learning from everybody in that space together, performing.
What are you, Tyler?
I think so to piggyback off of that, the unique experience that we have at Disney doing these shows that are pre-recorded shows and for lack of a better term, kind of stock shows that we do day in and day out for however long these shows exist. We do get to watch each other do the shows because we're not doing every single one or something like that. So we could go out into the audience and we could watch. I could go out there and see Kelsey doing, Disney Junior or something and be like, oh, that's what she's doing for this particular scene. She's doing this gesture. I really like that. That's a really cool movement that I wouldn't have thought of. I think at least over half of my shows that I ended up doing, especially at Disney Junior, came from watching her or watching Calvin or watching, just all these people that we work with and going, I like that move. I wonder if I can do that move. I'm going to try and do that move. And then I'm going to get a note saying, hey, you did my move. Try it this way if you're trying to do this,
Do it
Then I have
better.
do it better. Or don't do it at all,
Or don't take my.
That's
There's
my
something
move.
Settle
there's
down, kid.
something that Calvin did when like years ago with one puppet. To this day, I still cannot master what it is. And it was one of the little Einsteins, and he played the violin. And to this day, I was like, how did you
Forgot about that.
manipulate your arm rides to do this violin? And it was so effortlessly. And to this day, I have practiced it. And it's like, I can never get it to be that way. So it is kind of a fun, like, that was 10 plus years ago now, but it's kind of a fun thing to be like, there are still things, like little things that you saw somebody else do that you can learn from and you practice, and you may never, ever figure it out to be as good, but it is a good way, like, to keep yourself moving forward, just that little thing. And that was fun. That was one of the best things, like Tyler said, about like working with people. You can see what they did and you can like try to emulate them or build off of what you saw, and it always makes you better.
Definitely. I never got a chance to see any of the Playhouse Disney or Disney Junior shows, but I did when I was little. We might have talked about this when we interviewed you before, Calvin, when I went to see the Bear show. The
Yeah, there was
Bear
the
Surprise Party show.
That's right.
Yeah, that was I wasn't there for that. I was still, that would have been like what, 2001?
2003, almost 20 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
Three.
yeah,
2003, yeah.
Yeah, there was the Bear show that was just Bear.
Yeah.
Then they did the Playhouse Disney Live on Stage that had Bear with like Roly Poly Oly, JoJo Circus, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then we transitioned into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and that changed. So,
Right.
yeah, that was Bear was a special time. And then when the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse version came in, I loved it just as much. There's a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Bear was great," and you're like, "It was," but sometimes it's good for change. It was for me because it just brought on, and like Luke was saying, like so many other characters to kind of learn. There'd be characters I hated when we first got, and I'd be like, "Oh," and then by the end of it, I'd be like, "Oh, I love getting to play, XYZ." Just because it was challenging, and it kind of keeps you, like Kelsey was saying, is every time it's a different show. So,
and those were
Definitely.
heavy puppets.
yeah,
Oh gosh.
we all have shoulder problems now.
Forever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, speaking of, you mentioned, Bear, because Bear's on Playhouse Disney on stage before, Disney Junior and all that. And the change, I'm glad, Bear is actually now on Disney Plus, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Like for last time it like aired, really, it's like 2007, 2006 or something. So
2007, I think it was.
yeah, like in Canada. So the fact that we finally have the show, so we can watch, or the new generation of kids, watch Bear on Disney Plus. That's just amazing move to do.
Kids back then who have kids now. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, when it was first announced, I messaged, because we're good friends and we had interviewed him previously, Tyler Bunch. I messaged him about Bear coming to Disney Plus, and we kind of talked a bit about it.
Yeah, Tyler Bunch is He's a good friend of ours, and
Awesome.
he was. I mean, I guess I would say like he was one of our. He played foul out for a short stint, with us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So now he is mainly our what would we our
Narrator?
narrator.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
I'd
right.
be like, hey, buddy, I know you're not physically here, but we'll still put you in. So we always give Scott Hune a hard time. We're like, when Tyler Bunch comes back, you're out, bad. You gotta go. And Tyler Bunch plays into it. He'll be like, yeah, let him know that I will take foul out back from him. Just so.
Yeah, Tyler Bunch. He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is.
Yes.
So for Calvin and Tyler, another thing I wanted to bring up that the both of you performed in is Festival of the Lion King. What was that experience like?
Tyler.
I was actually just there today.
Yeah,
so,
great
you
answer.
know. It is a great stage to be at. Tons of friends there. It's a unique environment because there's so many people with so many different disciplines of various forms of the arts. We've got singers, we've got dancers, we've got puppeteers, we've got techs. There's so many moving parts that it's a statistical nightmare to look at and go, there are 17 things running in this one particular section at any given point in time, and that's just that one little section. So it's a whole lot. Having this big theater in the round and having these big wagons come in, and you see Simba up there, or you look over and you see Pumbaa, and then out comes Timon and is getting these monkeys to do all these incredible acrobatic stunts and whatnot. It's a really cool experience, even in the midst of doing the show and just seeing everybody doing their thing and me like, this is amazing. Oh, that's right. I have to work. I have to do a thing. I love it. It's one of my favorite shows that we have. And it's always a really cool experience.
It is. I've seen a couple
That's
videos of
awesome.
it too. It is a really good, really well put together show.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's I always like to say that there's a reason that it's still one of the highest rated shows on Disney property ever. It keeps people coming back. We have people who come back on a weekly basis, people come back on a yearly basis, pass holders, all this stuff. There are people who, I remember seeing it as a kid when it was back in Camp Mini Mickey, and then coming in and going, you're learning the show. And it's like, I remember seeing this when I was so small. I'm going to do the thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, the one thing I always took away from that show was that at the very finale is that feeling that you get, that euphoria of just the energy in that theater.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could tell.
That's awesome.
So, okay, this is kind of a tough question, but it's for you all. So, except for yours, do you have a favorite bird call character?
Bingo.
Bow Owl.
Dylan Coilstein. I really do like Dylan.
Bingo. Cracks me up.
I'm not gonna say Francis because that's a cop out.
Come on, Calvin, you can say Francis if you want to.
I think it's a good answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kelsey said it.
Bingo.
Like, just favorite. I know it's hard because I'm like, oh, I write for all these guys.
Yeah.
I think
It's hard for the
No, it's
creator
like-
of these characters to pick a favorite, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Your
I love
opinion
our
doesn't
child.
matter.
Pick your favorite child.
Pick your favorite child, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's funny because it's a what was it I said before? Like, it is this moment of, let's say we do a shoot and Luke as Chicker has got like some of the funniest lines in it, and he's doing the funniest, and it's like, okay, this one is Chicker's my favorite now, and then we'll do something else, and then it's like, okay, Speck was my favorite now. No, now it's Kesmo, and I'm constantly
You're going back
kinda
and
going
forth, back and forth. That you just love
Yeah.
probably just love
I
every
think I just
single of the
get-
character you just want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
basically,
think
it's the
it's
one that's working at that time. Yeah, pretty much.
it's to
Yeah.
me it's a lot of everybody. I love what everybody's doing, so I kind of have to step back because I know I'm like, well, I created the character, but to see each of these guys create more and add more to it, they're
Yeah.
doing things that I can't write. I trust them as the performer. So yeah, that's a hard question, but I guess I'd say Francis then.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, Francis. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's a
She's
good
awesome.
And he
Honestly,
goes-
all that
all the
build
Burkhart
up
characters
to
are
Yeah.
go with
amazing in their
Francis.
ways.
Go-
So
and he
Yeah,
goes,
they are. They're really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. The others are great, but
Yeah, like he
They're all great.
But he
They-
goes for the cop out anyway.
but you
Fantastic.
you cannot forget about
Goes for the
luckl-duckl though.
cop out anyway.
Of course, yeah.
Just remember,
yes.
she came in and beat you up earlier, so
I know. I think
that's to show him
it's,
who's boss.
that's true. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
So you guys have done multiple iterations of Burkhart. As you guys mentioned, 2014 you had done. Oh God, here comes the plug. What do you mean? Just the duck bill? Oh yeah, this. That's the Me Theater, folks. This was what, 2018? 2018, yes. Cal, we were gonna save this for later, but Calvin, you had like the first 5 episodes of Bird Call, and you combined them into one. How did that how did that go for you?
Luke can kind of plug in with me on that too. I brought the first 6 episodes and said, how do we mush this together? And so we did. I remember we did this big read through in like 2013.
yeah.
And it was like a hodgepodge of who we could get to come in and read it with us because we didn't cast everybody completely yet. Like people already had characters they were playing at the time, but it wasn't like a solidified for sure you're going to play this character. So yeah, we had so many versions of the TV script that if I looked at now, I'd be like, absolutely not. Like there's just no way I'd want to play the story. The tone changed a lot, and it was great to work with Luke because I was able to say, I really want this moment like with Harriet and Wally. They're our love story of the show, but how can we make that on a human emotion and not make it silly, and really sell it? I think what was kind of justified, like Kelsey went to see the show, and I remember she was like, oh, I teared up at this part, and so that kind of validated, good, what we're doing is working. But yeah, it was difficult to see what got cut. And I mean, Luke, you can chime in too, like about like us cutting things and figuring out how to paste it together.
Oh yeah. Calvin came with this idea, and the best thing is like if you read any of his scripts, they're episodic, but and self-contained, but they also have the full like character arcs. They have the full story arcs that go over an entire season. He's got it in his head, and that made it so easy to say, let's bring this thing and we'll focus it on this section. And it was fun. There was a lot that got cut, which was sad because I think the first time we did like a read through, we had the show was running 3 hours plus, and we were like, oh, we really gotta tighten this up.
Chop it down.
And it was sad too because we sat in a couple times we sat together and just like this can go, like we can change this part of the story to make it flow easier. And it was so sad because a lot of that stuff was like, oh, it's so funny. And a lot of the times we were already in rehearsals for these scenes and working them. We're like, oh, but Scott's doing something really funny here. I want to do this or stuff like that. So, but it was fun to try to find the core of what the story was for that first time from this longer script. And we hit it, but it was also kind of fun because I think we kept saying, it's like, when we make the TV show, we can put this stuff back in. We already know. So that was a lot of, that was exciting too. It's like, yes, for this show, we're going to have to do this, but there's always a future. We can do something else and introduce new characters in this way. And it was always great.
And even like saving, like Luke would run down the hall and go, okay, what about this joke? Or what if this moment happened? And I'd be like, yeah, I write it down, but then we'd try to, you can't shoehorn it in or else it doesn't make sense. And then I'd say, oh, well, I'm going to keep the, I mean, you can ask Kelsey, my phone and all the notebooks I have of just this can happen. Or Khufu does a rain dance, question mark. And I'll know what it
Yeah.
means later. But everyone else is like, what
Hopefully.
does that mean?
You hope.
Yeah. But then it would be something like, there was I mean, oh my God, we almost cut Bingo Flamingo from the first show altogether. I remember that being a whole thing. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna cut him, and Scott Hune had built him. So it was close, but we found a way to really nix it down to get him still in there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember
there
when
was
we
a
were
lot
looking
of
at. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I said I remember when we were the first show, we were looking at taking Grizzle and that whole villain storyline out and making the SOBS people the villains, and it's like, and like it worked, but then when we started looking at it, it's like, no, we really like Grizzle, we really like how this is going, how her interactions with luckl are. So it's like, but we don't want to cut the SOBSS because they're hilarious, and so it was nice that we could get both in, but also streamlined so it made both sections made sense and played well and didn't become overbearing over each side. So that was a great little collaborative effort.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was a great balance. I was really happy with it.
And I'll tell you, like, just in general, Calvin comes up with amazing, funny stuff to do. Great storyline, stuff like that. But also he lets us play and he lets us collaborate. And it's so much fun because he has something that's very solid. And when we read it, it is solid. It's polished. But then like when we start playing around, we'll hit something that's either maybe like funnier or takes it to different directions. And never once does he go, no, let's not do this. He says, that's great. Let's see if we can figure out how to put that into where we're going. He lets us play and lets us discover. And I tell you, like, the teamwork now that he has with Kelsey, when they come together and bring like scripts to the both of us, like we just have to show up sometimes and get to play. Like they've done so much of the prep work. They've done so much of the thinking about what's funny, thinking what's going to be a great story, that it makes, I mean, for the rest of us, it makes it a lot easier, and we get to come and play, and it's really up to their teamwork and then their abilities to be open and be collaborative for everyone.
Definitely. So overall, what is it like doing the musical?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simultaneously
Next question.
rushed and a long process, I think would be a fair thing. We know
I
it's
think Luke's been in all iterations of it. So that first one was kind of we did have people from two people from two different networks at the time come and shadow the show to see how it worked. And I remember it was kind of only Luke knew about it because I didn't want everybody else to freak out. And then I remember Luke going, "Oh my God, why did you tell me?" I was like, "I'm sorry." But then
Keep it to yourself. Come on now.
Yeah,
Yourself.
they were like, but we hit his dad in the audience. That was fun. I remember that.
Oh,
That was
I
cool.
didn't know that.
I was
That's
at the
cool.
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh,
Yeah, you see his dad in the wide shot. I can see like where he's sitting, so that was fun. But I think for me doing the musical, I think once I got out on stage, because these guys can tell you when we're shooting stuff, my eyes are on the monitor. Same thing for the rest of these guys as everybody's watching each other. My eyes are ping ponging all over the screen to be like, okay, make sure there's no head. Can I use this? And then we're thinking of a way to make it better each time. But for the musical, it's kind of like once you step out there, you're on your own, bud. Like I can only do so much but we'll save each other. There's been plenty of times all of us have been like, I'm saying a line, I don't think this is it, but then somebody's like, but I know what you're saying, and we're all on the same page, and the audience
And
laughs.
let's just
we're
do
like,
it.
Okay, yeah. It's a lot because we're not. These guys can tell you, like Kels would make the props, and I would need like somebody to move these things, and Luke would say, "Let me figure that out," and Tyler's helping with constructing the set. Faulkenberry's building puppets and stuff. So we're our own little sweatshop at that point. And I think we put so much of ourselves into it because we enjoy it. And yeah, that's my takeaway from it. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I definitely learned a lot about being resourceful, I think, and delegation and working as a team. And yeah, I think I'm proud. There's a lot of stuff that I would do differently, especially when it came to like props, costumes, and stuff. But it was all such a learning process for everybody that that I have a lot that I've taken away from, you know, thinking in the moment and coming up with solutions, whether it was building or sewing or even script wise and choreography wise and blocking wise, whatever. Just yeah, learning in the moment, learning as we go. We were all in it together.
Well,
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Luke.
I was just saying, we all have theater in our background, and we all know like there's a stress and an excitement and a pride that comes from doing a show. But a lot of that time, like you're doing a show that's already been produced and had the stuff, like it's a show that it's an already written show. This was solely original on Calvin and everyone involved. Everyone chipped in to do this and make this thing as much as we could. And going out there with something untested, undone, people didn't know who we were, and going out there and having it happen, and all that work, all that stress, all that excitement that we put into it was like triple than any other show you could do, because it was ours. It was our original thing. And I remember the first night that we did it in front of an audience, our opening night for the first musical. Once the curtain closed,
we rolled credits at the end.
Yeah. Once the curtain rose, it fell, and I had an inner ear, and our stage manager, she said, "We did it." And it was in that moment that everything that we happened in 6 weeks before, 8 weeks, all the preps were like that. It all just faded away, and it just became, we did it. And the audience was clapping, and they were excited, and it was everything that you could about. It was like triple, like I said, all the stuff that go into doing a show was triple because it was ours and they liked it. So the reward was so much triple, and the pride that we had for each other. It was a great night. I remember that.
That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad, if you even let me happen, Burkle musical, it's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Yep. And speaking of, we're gonna go on the soundtrack side of things. That's better. Thank you. Yep.
Look at Murray.
Look at all the promos he's making. Shut up, Murray. Well, do you have? This is for all of you. Do you have a favorite Urkel song? It doesn't have to be from the album, because I know you guys have done. What's that EP? Dodo and Crane, and you'd also done the Adventures in Reading series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You can get that out of here now. Fine. Jeez. Okay.
I think for me, and it's it's not been released, but we've played videos of it. It's our Christmas song. That one, man.
Oh yeah.
The Bright Light Season again. I remember writing that, and I thought, God, I hope this thing comes together with Glenn, our composer. He's amazing. Like I can plunk it out, I can hum it over the phone, and he will have a layered track, just a basic piano track to rehearse with. And then these guys get to hear the plunky version, and then they get to hear the whole orchestral version. But that song, and then even the Early Bird song we do in the musical, I love. I think those two for me were emotional, because the first time I heard them, I teared up because I heard it for the first time. as a creative person, you hear that and you just like, oh my gosh, it's real. It's finally real. So that to me, the Bright Light song, I wrote that in like 2010, I think, like right when Luke was around. And I thought, you know what, we'll whip this out, and we used it for the parade. And I was just like, wow, everybody liked this. So I think that's my favorite one right now. It'll change.
I like
Anyway,
the reading show just in
oh yeah,
general. I think that's maybe my favorite thing that we do is a reading show. Yeah.
Calico chicken.
One I'd love to be able to share that more, especially the read along with me. That song. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not something you guys usually do. You know?
Yep. Special for the kid.
definitely. Anyone else have a favorite song?
I know personally, I love Change the Code, if nothing more than just having Scott Hune go out there and full Music Man Harold Hill just preaching his thing and doing it. I remember the first time we went through it, I had to stifle my laughter. I loved it so much, and I just every time being on stage, just have to sing. Don't say anything. Nope. Keep it together. It'll be fine. I love it. It's so fun.
I like that song too.
Awesome.
I'm glad I have a part in it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
One
it's
of
a
my
big
favorite.
group number. Yeah.
Because I start the
I've
song.
never,
Yeah.
I've never
me too.
actually heard the song because bad actor here. While Scott is doing that the entire time on stage, I'm standing next to Kelsey and I'm just trying to make her break and just make her just do silly things. I've never heard the song. I'm sure it is
And it
fantastic. Scott is
always
great.
worked.
Yep.
Because I'm unprofessional.
Yes, you're the unprofessional one in this story. Yes.
No, I should be able to keep it together.
Mine is one that doesn't even have puppets in it. Mine was Songbird Without a Song. I think that's such a sweet song, and it's such an emotionally raw song. And I like that. I like moments in a show where a character just stands and sings and is vulnerable. And I think that song
Love a
is
good
that
bark
moment
and
for our
bark.
show. And yeah, I like it.
Yeah. One of my favorite Burkall songs is actually "The World Is Your Toilet." It's a great song.
Of course it is.
Classic.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Classic.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yep.
So this is for you, Luke. So how did you get? So I know you did actually work for Walt Disney Resort as an entertainer and performer. And can you talk about how you got employed to that and what was experience like for you?
Out of college, I went to school and I graduated college and I needed a job right away. I was like, I need to keep this going. I came down for an audition and I thought I was going to be here for a summer job. It would be something fun just to transfer from college into what I wanted to go auditioning and be on Broadway or moving out to LA. So I came down for a summer job and I got a job and I stayed here for 19 years. And so it's been a long summer. But it's been a very rewarding show or rewarding job because, and this is the whole thing, like I got to meet friends and I got to play for, I did Disney Junior, the Muppets, Great Moments in History of Muppets, Voyage of the Little Mermaid. And the best part about that wasn't the job itself, it was the people you got to work with. So I've met so many exciting people. And when you get to play around every day with your friends and you get to learn and just be around them and goof around, that's a pretty good job. And, sadly is that those shows are now on hiatus or not around anymore, that I don't get to see my friends as much. And that makes me sad because I don't get to play as much. But it, just came down and I wanted to stay because I got to have fun. And that's the best job you can have.
Definitely.
Nice. That's awesome.
Definitely. So, because I know we're kind of running short on time, so we're gonna just ask like couple more questions. For Kelsey, I know you also puppeteered for The Secret Life of Pets for Universal Superstar Parade. What was that experience like?
Those puppets were very different compared to, your normal hand and rod puppet. This was very much a combination of technologies of, you know, and on top of that, you're inside of a moving float and interacting with the people, the other puppets, the dancers and stuff. So that was definitely a unique experience. Yeah. And each puppet, so all four of the puppets were just a little different and stuff. So it's just puppets in general, not all puppets are created equal. So it's even though you may be used to like hand and rod or a live hand or something, and then you get your hands on something more mechanical and then have to work your brain around that, and then master that, and you're like, yes, I got it. Whether it's a bike brake, a button, just an eye blank, or like a whole rod and gimbal where you're moving the head. It's always fun to layer on different styles of puppetry. So then that one was just a whole other animal, literally. Dog.
So, speaking of different animal, we're going to move away from protocol for a moment. This is for Kelsey and Chris. How did each of you get started on TikTok?
All right.
I think they downloaded the app.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah. No, I think I started because TikTok was still a pretty new thing, and it was just we were deciding whether or not it was even something we'd be interested in. Like, what is this, just lip syncing to songs, doing dances? Like that's not my thing. That's not what I can offer to the world. But what if I do this trend that I see people doing, but just with my puppet? What if, this audio that's going around that people are talking about, what if I just use the puppet, and it accidentally grew from there, because I was just trying to make myself laugh. I was trying to make my friends laugh, because we were like, there's this new weird app. What is this? It's silly. And here we are.
Right. And for me, honestly, I didn't get TikTok at first because it was so new and I didn't understand what it was. And then Kelsey started doing her thing and I was like, oh, it could be this. I didn't really do anything with it much until COVID happened, and then I had a lot of free time on my hands.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
Maybe, not being put out of work for 2 years.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot of free time to do stuff. So I did that mostly, keep myself entertained, to keep myself fresh, and to, just to put something out there that I enjoyed. It doesn't
cool.
It doesn't always get the attention you think it will, but it's not for them, it's for me.
Right.
And the whole idea of TikTok, not just everybody thought it was this one thing, but then it kind of branched off into so many other things, and people, found their own little nooks and communities. Right. And so, yeah, so sometimes a video will break through to everyone, and sometimes it just stays in your little box, and that's okay too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how we started. We kind of found TikTok through Kelsey as well. Yep, that's kind of how we started. Yep.
Yeah, I know you really want to mention, what Kelsey's doing on TikTok, because you're one reasons why you're on TikTok, and that's what you mentioned. So,
Yeah.
what you're doing, you and Chris and Kelsey, what you're both doing on TikTok is amazing. So,
and Calvin's on TikTok too.
Thank
Berkel's on TikTok as
you.
well. So,
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
nice. Awesome.
Yep.
So, do
Excuse
any
me.
of you have any projects you're currently?
Me, I'm so sorry. How rude.
It's okay. Bless you.
Blessings to you.
Bless you, then. So So, do any of you have any projects you're currently working on, just for your personal projects, or for bird call as well?
I think I've already talked about everything I'm doing.
No, I don't have anything going on right now.
Well, I will say this: they'll all have something going on soon because I have just finished a bunch of scripts.
Yay!
Oh,
Hooray
yes,
for
oh,
work!
yes,
Back
yes.
to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't left my house in 10 days.
You should leave.
I
Right?
don't know how.
Oh,
He doesn't know
It's dark.
how.
I
Right?
can't find the
oh my
door.
gosh. That's
But no,
on you.
I've got some fun stuff coming. There's Mr. Chicker as a luchador. We get to see the day that Chicker
Oh my
Jr. was
God.
hatched. We
Aw.
make fun of it's called Bird Call Babies, prehistoric bird call. So yeah, we've got something, and then more podcasts. So yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, Burger Podcast. Yeah.
Yes, we're
Yes.
calling your
Yeah,
That's
podcast.
right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Available wherever podcasts or if you listen to podcasts, just like us. Yay!
Yes.
Yeah, just like you guys.
2 in 1. 2
Yes.
in 1.
Yep.
2 in
Mhm.
1. So
Yes.
as we're wrapping up here, what would you like to say to your fans and supporters of not only your own work but a bird call as well?
Say, birds of a feather, we flock together.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
I don't.
That was good.
I mean,
That's good.
I'm just thankful that what we're putting out is something positive, and that these guys have brought something unique to the table that helps propel it forward. So yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So if people would like to connect with any of you guys or, with Bird Call, where can people find you? What's the best way people can connect with you?
Take notes, folks. It's a lot. Yeah, take notes.
Yes.
Birdcallradio.com, and then all socials are at birdcallradio, and then myself, Calvin, is CalPal910 on all the socials.
I'm one Brady lady across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Awesome. And all of your social media, and it will be in the description down below, as well as for Bird Call, your website and social media. Everything will be in the description down below, so people can check out Bird Call and everything else. So
Yes.
Also, if you folks want to find something like what Matt's wearing, note he does not work for Bird Call. And yes, Brandon and Bubba,
I knew this was going to be brought up.
that is, we had to bring this up because he didn't when he was on. That is a luckl-duckl autograph back there. Thank you, Bubba.
Ooh.
I don't even have one of those. Awesome.
He asked, like, is that a luckl-duckl autograph back there? Yes, it is.
Yours is autographed.
Yeah, we
Yes.
just got like
Lucky.
a picture. It's black and white. It was
Black and
Xerox.
white.
You got
Stick
oh, you
figure.
got Francis
Yeah.
and Kesmo back there.
Yep. That's
Oh, wow.
personal.
What's
Brady
it like to be
back there.
loved?
He went to
Do you
the
have Mr.
conventions.
Chicker?
We have a chicker one as well.
Oh.
I don't
In
see
the
it
fireplace,
prominently
not
displayed.
on it.
Yeah.
We don't have there are a few we don't have.
Uh-oh.
There are just a few we don't have. I don't think we have Kiki's yet. But she's fairly new.
Ooh.
dang it.
She's fairly new. But
I was gonna say, I
yes,
don't think I have Kiki's.
there you
Who's
go.
that?
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Hey there.
this is
Look
in
at that
color,
headshot.
and it is autographed. Yep. Whole bunch of stuff. I wanna ask you, Matt, what got you into bird call? How in the world did you discover these people? Well, that's actually a good question. Nobody's asked me a question like this before. Well, I'm the first. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay for Marty.
I found bird call. I guess it was, I don't know, 5 years ago. I think it was. Really that long? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember how exactly I discovered bird call. I think I first became a fan through the Show Me show that you guys had done
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Oh.
with the
Show
with
Me
the
Show.
With Noel.
birds episode.
Yes.
Yep.
No, he's
It's the
awesome.
Show Me Show.
Yep.
Yes.
And then I was just like so impressed. I'm like, look at all these birds and how well they play off of each other. Like I was so impressed. and he's become a huge fan ever since.
Oh.
And well connected too. Well connected as well. Yep.
Yes.
If you folks would like to find a shirt, not of the cast and crew, but of this one, you can find. Thank you for specifying. You can find it on their Zazzle store. That's
Yes.
Zazzle,
The link
the
to that will
bird
also be
store.
included in the description.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's also where we got that poster we have, which is the front of his autograph binder. Yep. So they got a lot of good stuff out there. They got puzzles now, which is really cool.
That's crazy.
Yes.
They do.
So
the
for
designs are really great.
yeah, so for this very last question, I know Jake wanted to ask Matt about something in regard to the last question.
What did you want to? Oh God, what did you want to ask me? We're so unprepared, aren't we? Yes, we are. Jeez, what, Jakey? What do you want from me?
I was wondering if Julius can have a turn us for the last question.
Also, I'm being replaced. That's nice. Okay, fine. I guess
you can both come out for the picture. It's fine.
Okay. You know what? Sure.
That's
Just
how I
be
was
on-
about to say.
Just be on standby. I'm not used to
Oh,
this.
Julius is not a character. Okay, I was like, who's
Oh,
Julius?
hi.
Yes. Hi.
Hey, Julius.
Hello.
Hey. Oh, this is on the spot. Thanks. Appreciate
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And this last question
You're
for
welcome.
and this last question for the past year, this has been the question that we ask like everyone at the end.
So we did not ask you this the last time you were here. What are you talking about? I wasn't even here the last time Calvin was on.
That's right.
Although you were mentioned a lot. Yes, I was. Go ahead and ask the
Yes.
last
Doug,
question.
you're the biggest sport call fan I ever know, so it makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, as Chris said, we always ask this. We save this for last. This is like our signature question. Of course, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or how do you define the word nostalgia?
For me, it's childhood.
Yes.
Definitely.
Anyone else?
Walkman.
Ah, yes.
Just,
Yeah.
just
Definitely.
anything that makes you happy. Just
Of
anything.
course.
Yes.
Yeah,
A memory of joy.
Yeah.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm still watching them now as a grown adult, cartoons.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
same here, Duff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, oh my
Sweet.
goodness, this has been a wonderful interview.
Yes.
This was definitely an adventure, but very well worth
Yes.
it.
And I'm glad for making it happen. And you folks, sorry that we didn't do it last year because of all the scheduling conflicts and everything. I'm glad
No,
for
it's totally fine.
able
No.
to do it. And
scheduling's a thing.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, and for us too, we had a lot of other
too.
interviews that
Oh
had
my
to be moved
gosh.
around a bunch, so it kind of got a little crazy. But
just so you all know, guys, that
Here we are.
next few interviews is going to be
it's better late than ever.
crazy.
Better late than never. And,
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
still a part of the year-long celebration. This is actually
Yes.
one of the old cards, because this one doesn't have TikTok. No. Hey, it's okay. It's
Dang
okay.
it.
Check
Dang
him
it.
out. Check him out
The
everywhere.
person who
Bird
did
Call-
that, come on, you
Bird Call
forgot
Radio-
to
Bird
add
Call
that.
Radio.
Well, if you ever see the car driving around, you can always catch the QR code now,
That's true.
Mrs. Mandy
If you're driving
Patinkin did.
around, scan the QR code.
She did.
Yeah.
Start
QR
spreading that
code.
around.
Follow them, Bird Call Radio, on all social medias. Check out their website,
Yeah.
birdcallradio.com.
Yeah, check their social media description down below. And I just want to say is to all of you, thank you for being the show, and thank you for being the show again, Calvin. And it's been a
Yes.
blast. And thank you for you guys, in general, for what you've done and you having a Bird Call being a part of our lives. Keep up your great work, guys, and see what's next for you, and see
Yes.
It's next
Yes,
in store
yes.
for Bird Call.
down the line
Thank
for next 20 years of Bird Call or something.
Jakey, I've already aged myself once in this episode. Stop it. Jeez.
Well, to all of our viewers and listeners,
Hey.
this brings another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show interview to a close. We absolutely enjoyed our time with the cast of Bird Call.
Yes,
And-
thank you again,
Absolutely.
guys.
And
Yeah.
as always, remember to look out for more wonderful interviews and keep
Yes.
nostalgia alive. Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Keep Sasha alive.
Bye.
See you next time, next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show interview. Be sure to follow Jake and the crew on social media and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.